Alright, we got Meshroom here loading up, and we got our pictures here. We're just going to put them in here. I'm not going to fool with shit. I'm going to make sure it works like it's supposed to. Save. Rock. Start. Let's see how this does. Now you can go ahead and go into Blender, and let me reload it. Oh, you know what? I bet that's what might have happened in here. It might just be taking up so much damn memory that might be why it messed up the other times. So we'll just, well, shit, I don't know. Let me just load it. Let's just start the Blender. We'll go ahead and make our files for our rock here. We'll delete this cube, the light, the camera. Add an empty plane axis. Add 3 of these. Alright, name one of them base 00. Name the other one start 01. And if you're doing LODs, different LODs, you'll need the third one. BB underscore auto billboard 25. Alright, now these are like folders. And then what you'll do is hold shift and left click and drag into you put the start in the base, and then you also drag this one in the base. So this is what you got. Now if you're not doing LODs, different detail levels, you don't need this BB one here. But the base 00 and the start 01 you need for every other thing you make that you're going to be running into anyway, or driving over. So this is putting on along. That's all we can do for now. While we wait for this to finish, I'll just stop the video and come back in a minute. Alright, we're back. Our model is finished. Just the places that I couldn't get to with the camera, it couldn't process, but that's alright. This will just be like the ugly Christmas tree scenario where you stick the bad side against something that you don't see it. So we got our model. All we have to do now is go to down here, pick texturing. When it's finished, you can double click texturing to see it show the texturing model. Before you double click it, this is what you'll see. But once you double click it, it'll load the texturing, and you can hide the point cloud by selecting the eye there. So we'll pick texturing. We'll go to attributes, and down at the bottom you'll see where it put the mesh, and then just select that and copy, and then on your desktop just paste it, and you'll see the we're going to rename this texture though to I'm going to call it rock 200. And now we'll go into Blender where we were at a minute ago. Oh yeah, wait a minute. Let's make a new folder to move those into. So, and pick the object, the material, and then the texture, and move them into the new folder. Alright, then in Blender, we're gonna which I must have closed my Blender. accidentally. Hold on, give me a second. Let me remake these things. Add empty plane axis, add empty plane axis, add empty plane axis. Base 0, 0. Start 0, 1. BB underscore auto billboard 25. And holding shift, moving start into base 0, 0, and moving this one into base. So this is what we got. Now import OBJ, and we'll go to that new folder we just made. And there it is, textured mesh. Now since I renamed the texture, it's not going to know where it is, so pick the object, go to texture, and right here just open the one we renamed it to. I changed the names because everything Meshroom makes uses the same file name, so you don't want duplicates. So you can hit this up here to see the textured object, and it's not the right way, you can see. So right select it, go to object, set origin to 3D cursor, object, set origin to geometry to origin. That'll stick it in the middle, and that'll also, when you put it in your game, when you go to grab to move it, it'll also stick the little handlebars, you know, where the object is and not somewhere over here. Alright, so now we just pick a view and we just rotate it so that it's the right side up. And you can pick another view and rotate it until you get it because we got to get rid of everything else in the scene, all the other stuff. So what we're going to do is go to edit mode. We're going to pick this here for X-ray so that it picks everything behind what we're selecting. We'll draw a box as close to the bottom as we can. And we're going to chop all this off to start with, a little bit higher. And we'll just say delete vertices. Then we'll do the same thing in the back. And all this at the bottom. And this here. So what? Oh, a little straggler here. Get rid of that. And this is what we go back to object mode, and this is what we got left with. Which this is not going to show anything on the bottom because obviously it was on that piece of wood. There's some things you can do in here to fix this. I'm not going to get into that. It's kind of time consuming because I'm not great at fixing things in here. There's one vertex or something here that's a straggler. Here we go, delete that one. Alright, now the scale of this is probably not where you want it. So if you got if you're good at measuring stuff to know the size of something, you can use this measuring tape here and just say 1 meter. I don't like that measuring tape because it's just, to me, it's pain to use. Now I want this rock to be a little bigger. I want to use it more like a boulder. So I'm going to go to scale and I'm going to scale it up some. I'm going to move it back to the center, and then I'm going to go to Object, Apply All Transforms. Alright. Now what we're going to do is decimate it. We're going to reduce the polygon count if we have to. Let's see how many polygons or faces. We'll pick this wrench, we'll add decimate, and it's 51,000 faces. So looking at the wireframe, you can see it's quite detailed there. So what we're going to do is decimate it. We're going to, let's change this value to 0.5 and hit apply. And now let's add another one, but this time let's pick planar, and we'll say UVs, that way the UV coordinates stay the same. Now what we're going to do is start moving this slider until we can get to a comfortable face count for this rock. You want to, the goal is to get it looking good but not looking bad, obviously. So the more you reduce it, the worse it's going to start to look, which you don't want any of that, obviously. So this is a little CPU intense, so I do the first decimate to reduce it quite a bit, so when I use this planner it doesn't take forever. I've had to exit Blender and reload it one time trying to do this particular one, instead of reducing it some first. So let's just put 25. See how. Alright, 708. Let's just go with that. Actually, let's put 15. Alright, so this will be the model up close. This will be our first level of detail. So we'll hit apply. Now we'll double click this and we'll just call it rock underscore A. Now everything after the letter A has to do with the pixel size. If it's 300 pixels large on the screen, then you'll see that detail level. Alright, we'll go ahead and hold down shift and drag this one into start 01, and we're going to make a duplicate of it. So we'll open up this little tab and we'll pick it and we'll say object duplicate. If you don't hit escape, this is what will happen. So you just hit escape and it'll stick it there in the middle. Now we're going to do another decimate, and this time bring it down even farther. You can use collapse, or you can use the planar, whatever that is. But I'm just going to reduce it like this to about 300 polygons or faces, whatever it is. Alright, and if I didn't say it the first time, click this little arrow and say apply, so it sets it. You'll know it don't, if you haven't applied it, you'll have a little wrench here. Then you'll know you didn't apply it yet. Now double click this one and change this number to 150. And that'll be our one LOD change. We ain't gonna do another one. That'll be plenty. The BB Auto Billboard, what that'll do is when it's, I'm assuming that when it's 25 pixels in size, it will change it to a two-dimensional sprite, or just like a two polygon object or something. Like the grass, you know how the grass looks, the ones that you drive around and no matter where you're at, it looks at you, it faces the same direction. Well, that's what these do. Now I have seen for some reason these objects in the BB Auto Billboard becoming red for whatever reason. I don't know what's causing that on the stuff that I've created. It may be something I'm skipping, I don't know, but really you're not close enough to them to see it change red, so I don't worry about it. Unless it's a big object, then you would see it like a tree, but this won't. You shouldn't notice it. I've also seen where the reflections in the water will be red. Maybe a game bug, I don't know, with the way these are made. I don't know, but we're ready to stick it in the game. We just need to change the texture name from this. This is what Meshroom names everything. Texture Atlas 1001. Now, since we duplicated this object, it's going to change it on all of them. We just need to change one of them. So we'll call it Rock 200. And if you use uppercase, remember if you used it. Oh yeah, we also need a collision to run into it. If we don't make that, we'll drive through it. This is where you'll make a duplicate of the lower detailed model, the 150. If you want, you can simply you can just make a box. It's even simpler by just adding a mesh and adding a cube, and make that something you collide in. That's like easier on the CPU or GPU, whatever. But if you're a rock climber, that's going to work like crap. So you can duplicate this lower polygon model here. Object, duplicate, hit escape, and name this COLMESH-1. And now we're ready to send it to the game. So File, Export, Collider, and in your level folder, your art folder, for example, art shapes miscellaneous, where this rock is going. Rock 200. All this looks good. It's going to copy the texture over there for me, and I want it to take everything over there, so this is unchecked, and there it goes. Now in the game, which I should have had loaded, but I don't have enough memory to run Meshroom Blender in the game without Meshroom having problems, so I should get another 16 gigs, I think. Alright, pick your level that you sent that rock over to. Now the first thing we gotta do is make that texture. And keep in mind it's just the texture, no special bells and whistles, no PBR, just the plain texture like these on the ground here, which I made in Meshroom also. But let this load. While this is loading, go up here to Material. See if you don't have this open, Window, Material Editor, New Material. And this can sometimes appear behind things, so keep that in mind. Rock 200. Create. And pick the color map. And remember, this thing can pop up behind stuff too. Project 3, Art, Shapes, Miscellaneous. And I should be able to type 200. There it is. Rock 200. Open. Advanced. Double-sided. Receive shadows. Lighting. Anisotropic filtering. Save. Now I can bring in the model, which is here in the asset browser, which Window Asset Browser. All models. I can just start typing 200 and I should see it pop up. There it is. There's my rock. There's that ugly backside I talked about with the Christmas tree. You just stick that sucker right against the wall and nobody will ever know except for you. Alright, now for those rock climbers out there, you want to make a little challenge. Make a copy by holding shift. And this is just where you gotta just be a little creative and kind of rotate them around in such a way that they don't look like the same object duplicated 100 times. You just, you know, keeping in mind the bad spots so that you don't see them. And like I said, if you can get around an object, I had some crappy pictures I took today that didn't turn out good. Went outside. Really, these rocks are little, and I took the pictures with the iPhone. If you got bigger rocks, obviously that works a lot better than little ones. You can be far enough away to take a picture that you ain't got to worry about the background blurring. See, that was the thing with me. I had to get close enough that the FOV, the field of view, was blurring my background and blurring parts of the rock. And I mean, that was pretty much the case inside too. I didn't get great, you know, great pictures. I mean, they were okay, but you know, the sad thing is I got a 24 megapixel Nikon. We spent like $600 on it, and I never used the damn thing because I don't know how to take good pictures with it. That would be really good if I knew how. I could take some pretty nice stuff with it, make some better models. I don't have the patience to figure out all them damn settings. Even the auto, man, my pictures are bad. They all turn out bad. So we got this little thing here. Really, this rock is probably scaled bigger than what it should be for, you know, the amount of texture quality it's got. But, I mean, what can you do? It's a little rock. But you can see how you can rotate just one thing and make it look like many different ones. If you ever watch like game developers making levels, you'll see them doing the same stuff when they hand plant stuff. You know, you'd think they'd have like 20 million assets, but really it's not. I mean, they have a lot more assets than that, than just one, but they artistically position things to look like they got more than what they really got. So we got this little thing here. I'm not no rock climber, but I can tell you I probably can't climb that. Now, to make it to where you can run into the object, because right now you'll just drive through it, you have to go up to Edit, Rebuild Collision. Now let's get out of the editor and let's change this to a rock crawler. So I don't have any real mods installed. This is just the ones I got. Came with the game. I got a couple. Installed. I'll try it out. Hold on a minute. Technical difficulties. Got my damn wires all crossed up. Alright, so let's see if we can climb this sucker. Yeah, I suck at this sport. I tried to make a level with rock climbing, it's terrible because I don't know how to test these things, you know, like they're too hard to stand play on. Alright, that's all you needed to see. I can't do it. Like I said, no rock climber. Let's check the LOD, the LODs, which is where the distance, where the object fades, and resolution, not resolution, but detail level. So let's get up to here and start to zoom away, fly away, and we should see it switch. There it went. It switched. I don't know if you could see it switch, but it switched. Which, if you do your LODs good, you shouldn't really see it changing. That's the whole idea, that you don't really see the difference. Now, when we get even farther away, when this thing's 25 pixels in size, it is now a two-dimensional sprite. That's what that BB Auto billboard did. It's just unfortunate that the side that it's showing us is the bad side of the Christmas tree. Which you can see these on the ground now also are a BB Auto billboard, where they're just a two-dimensional sprite that as you move around it, it'll kind of rotate and well, actually, I guess it does in some way. It does redo it. I guess I kind of like how a cube map works. I guess is how it works. It just, from whatever angle the model is, it makes a two-dimensional representation, like the trees. But you can see that they're just two-dimensional little sprites. Let me get up close to it and see it change back. Also in the editor, you can pick the object and say show in shape editor, and you can force detail and change the LOD to C. Like that's the BB Auto billboard that it's showing you of the object rotating, and that's one level of detail, and it'll tell you how many polygons it is, and like it's 8,000 polygons here, and then how it's just 2 polygons when it's a billboard. So that's how that LOD works. See, there's your 300. There's your 300. There's your 150. There's your BB Auto billboard 25. And there's your collision mesh. And if your material isn't showing up for whatever reason, you can always in shape editor go to material and see what texture it's looking for. Normally when you pick your object, with the exception of objects made with the texture cooker, when you pick an object, it should in the material editor show you the texture. Now I'll show you how to make a normal map for it. Not the best way to make one, but it's a generic way to make it. We'll go into GIMP and load that texture. I'll also show you how to convert it into a DDS file so it's better. PNG files have to decompress in the CPU. DDSs are more streamlined and run more efficiently in the game editor, and sometimes smaller in size. So what we're going to do is load that PNG, which we'll have to edit it in the game, but that's no big deal. You could do this before you ever export it into the game. I didn't do that to save a little time. I figured I'd throw this in at the end if anybody wanted to see it. But we'll go into that miscellaneous folder and we will get that Rock 200 and bring it into here. There it is. So like 11 megs for that texture. Alright. It's the power of 2. It's 4096 by 4096, so it'll work fine. In fact, all the Meshroom's exports are power of 2. You don't have to worry about changing them. Go to File, Export as, select DDS. Alright. Now, Rock 200 is the file name. Make sure it's going into the folder of your game, like levels, project 3, art, shapes, miscellaneous. So make sure you're exporting it to the right folder. Go to export, change compression to BC1, enable bitmaps, and export. Now to make a normal map, filters, generic, normal map. Okay. File, export as, and I'll put a little underscore in to tell me, hey, that's a normal map. Export. This time the compression will be BC5. Generate bitmaps. BC3 is the other one that you can use sometimes. That's if you have transparencies that you're using. That's good for like making bushes, trees, and whatnot. Now I'm not great with the PBR materials, but I figured, well, you know what, let's just fool with that too. We'll export. Actually, we'll go to filters, enhance. We'll run a high pass filter over it. Okay, and export this as instead of an N underscore N, I'll just put an HP on this high pass filter, and it'll be BC1 because it's not a normal map, it's not a transparency. Alright, then I'll go back, and this is the history here, the undo. Now let me see, I'll try to make it high contrast, or not high contrast, shit, I'm not 100% sure on the roughness and how that stuff works, but I don't know what that's gonna do. Image, hue and saturate, image mode, grayscale. File, export as, and I'll just put an R for reflection or roughness. I don't know. We'll try a few different slots and see what we can get. It'll be BC1. And let's get back into the game, into our material editor. Let's go to PBR. Now looking at these rocks, first thing is normal map. We'll pick that normal map. Somebody probably knows a lot better about these PBRs than me. Now we'll make an ambient occlusion map, and this one will be the first map, the regular texture. In advanced, base color palette. I know I'm probably doing all this wrong. Base color detail be the high pass filter. Which that ain't gonna work. Oh wait a minute, I gotta change the scale to 1:1. Alright, detail, the normal map for the detail be the normal map. Metallic, which is not a metallic, it's going to be not emissive. I have a little reflection to it. The cube map, blue sky. I guess a metallic would be also, no, maybe it's the roughness. Let me see which one. That's the one that I did just a minute ago. The roughness. It's not showing anything yet. Metallic, let me see. I guess it's got a little bit of metallic to it. That one, I'll pick that same high contrast one. Where's my mouse at? Oh, there we go. I guess it's the white that reflects. More white something, the more it'll reflect. See what other let's drop the color down to but you know that ambient occlusion map's just not, maybe that's got to be the high pass filter. Yeah, it just looks like crap. I'm going to revert back to 1 because I do not know how to do these very well. I did it on that road from that other video, but I'm just not that damn good at making these things. If anybody knows a good video to watch to show these, I'd definitely watch it. So let's get our color map back in there and change this back. I remember reading something like if you got a reflection map or a specular map, then one or the other doesn't work. I don't remember which one it is. Like one will work, the other won't work. But you can see it's got a little more roughness to it than it did. Not as good as the PBR materials, but it's better than the other way. Oh yeah, I need a cube map. Yeah, I guess it was roughness. One of these, like specular or roughness, shit, I don't remember. You know, most of the time when I make these textures, I sit here for quite a while until I find a combination that damn works good. Because I don't exactly have a great understanding of it yet. I will though. Just take me a little while. But that's using the old material, not the PBR. So it looks a little better than the before I put any of the other textures on it, but it's not as good as it could be. Which what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna zip this model if anybody wants it, which is ugly on the back and on the bottom, but you know, if you can position it in ways that, what is that damn spot there? I didn't see that a minute ago. Let me undo these, see which one the hell is causing that. Or maybe it was there, I didn't see it. What the shit? I know that black spot wasn't on that rock. Maybe it was. I don't know. Oh, that's my damn that's my damn tire marks. I was getting irritated for a second. Now that's my tire mark there, making that damn black spot. And I was like, what is that on the texture? Alright, so yeah, I'll zip this, all these little textures I just made. You can maybe plug them in different ways or whatnot, but I'll stick them on a zip, and I'll stick them on OneDrive and put the link in the description. But I will show you like the other rocks that I made with Meshroom, so you can see that some of them aren't bad. Some of them came out alright. You can see the lots change on this one though. I didn't do good with that. But these are some rocks here that I did with it, which really in reality these rocks are really little. They'd look better if you were to use them at the right size that they are. Which really these were probably, realistically, if you were to make them the right size in the game that they were in real life, this is more or less what they would look like. They'd be little bitty rocks, which they look great like that, you know, but you can make them too large, you know, you start seeing where they start breaking down there. But yeah, that's some more of them, some different ones, some floating grass. This was one of the PBR materials that I did for this plank. Depending on the sun, it looks different. But that's another one. This is actually the rock, same rock, just one I made at a different time. I'm not sure if those are different ones or the same. I got a few different ones in here that I did and threw in here. I think I even got some more down here that I stuck in the water. Or maybe that's the ones from the beginning. I gotta get back to work on this one too, I guess. I still got a lot to do. And all this crap's not done, yeah, obviously. This all got to, all this, I don't know what I'm gonna do with any of this stuff really. I'm just put this level on pause for now. I'll come back to it, figure out what I'm gonna do with it. It's just kind of in limbo at the moment. Spent too much time making this water. I'm just kind of burned out on it right now.